Good evening and welcome back. We've got Bitcoin at a $117,000 price. We are hitting that uptrend. We've kind of broken a little bit, just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Also, I changed a little bit of settings on my mic, so I hope it's not terrible. Man, now that I said that, I kind of want to review it. I'll review it live. You're gonna have to hear my voice twice here, so just bear with me. Is this thing even gonna load? Okay. Just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. Also, I changed a little bit of settings on my mic, so I hope... Why does it sound like I'm mono? Now that I said that, I kind of want to review it. No, I don't know. I'm just hearing myself twice, right? You can hear me speak twice. I don't know. It sounds like that's different. I don't know, maybe it's just my ears, honestly. Because I went swimming and my left ear sounds like there's no audio. I don't know, it didn't sound like that until just now. Let me just one more hearing. Sorry. That's different. I don't know, maybe it's just my ears, honestly. Because I went swimming. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like my left ear is not hearing as much. Maybe I'm just going deaf. Too much headphone usage at such a young age. Yeah, there you go. All right, moving on. So, what do we got? Back to this. Sorry about that. Yeah, we are currently dropping. Not really. Not really. We're kind of lateralizing because this is the same price that we have seen all throughout this week. You'll notice that Bitcoin has not gone higher. It has not gone lower. We're stuck at the top still. 117,000. That's not an issue at all. So the altcoins, of course, they don't like seeing Bitcoin in this range. They don't know whether or not, oh, is Bitcoin going to break out toward the upside and hit that 125,000 target so that we can continue rising? Oh boy, here come the yawns again. Or are we going to start dropping again? I have levels at 115,000, 112,000. Are we going to start dropping in? Was that the top for this cycle? It's obviously not the top for the cycle, but altcoins are going to treat it as such. I just scratched my mic, I think. Whatever. So that's the big question the altcoins do have in mind. So they're kind of playing it safe, so to speak, by selling off, if that makes any sense. That's why we're having another bit of a red day in crypto as well. Man, Pump.Fund down 18%. It's crazy. I would have gotten liquidated at this point, but I added more margin over here, and I'm planning to rebuy if this does continue dropping. If not, it'll rise back up and I'll be perfectly fine. I entered Sonic yesterday. That's in a losing position right now. I didn't put too much in, which I'm totally fine with. I'm not going to put any more in until we continue seeing some good oversold conditions, probably. We are at oversold conditions currently. Hey, maybe it is a good idea. No, maybe not. It's a bit dangerous. I could try 31 cents and then 28 cents and then low point of 24 cents. At the end of the day, this is perpetual futures, so I can add as much entries that I want, and it should work out perfectly fine, in my opinion. Yeah, the yawning is so bad. So there goes this for Bitcoin. We're still lateralized. No signs of oversold conditions yet, but a breakout is imminent. Whether that be toward the downside or toward the upside. I'm hoping toward the upside. Of course, you're never really going to know. If it is to the downside, I'd accept it. I'd take that as an opportunity to buy. You have an entry point if you don't have any Bitcoin at 115,000 if you so desire to DCA a small amount. Don't go all in, please. You're buying an all-time high level. So be careful with that. Next level is 112,000, right? I have this Fibonacci previous resistance becomes support. And also, you know, our old all-time high level is practically from there. I also have our resistance trend line drawn from here to kind of determine where we could rise to, where we could see a bit of a slowdown, right? It's one thing we could find. And also pivot levels support 2 is at that area. If we do get a drop on Bitcoin of approximately 4%, that's possible. That is absolutely possible. So just, keep that in the back of your mind before making any entries. Entries right now for Bitcoin, do not operate this zone. No good. Wow, that's terrible drawing. Yeah, you get the point, right? Now, what else we got? Let's move on to another token. Well, did I even mention percentage price? Down 1.16%, 117,000 for Bitcoin. No big change. Ethereum. Why is AI up here now? Interesting update. Same deal with Ethereum. Kind of been lateralizing over here. We're at 3,657 currently. We're actually up 0.43% compared to yesterday, where we were lower than that. We were like around 3,500. Yeah. 3,507. When was this? Midnight. Which, yeah, that would have hit the low point of this pivot support level. Also this Fibonacci. So that worked out perfect. We are bouncing up from that. And, I mean, we do have the uptrend that we will be approaching very soon as well. Hopefully, if we do approach it, it's just for accumulation and we continue higher. That is ideally what the case should be. So that's what I'm expecting for it. Yeah, really not much else to say for Ethereum. I mean, in terms of drops, your super trend would invalidate 3,426, which it could see it drop down to 3,200 once again. And then this, I'd consider it just 3,000. Round that down to a psychological level. Next is Solana 181. Nice dip. Did reach overbought conditions over here. I haven't been looking at RSI, I've realized in my past couple streams, so I'm starting to pay attention to it a bit more now, especially to help me find any entries, especially during an uptrend. So right now for Solana, that is not the case. We can still see a drop, I would say around once in the 170s. So like 171, very early 170. That's where super trend would invalidate, likely bounce. And I mean, you also have the uptrend line over here. So you would also probably see Solana at an oversold condition if we do get a dip like this. Based off of this dip right over here, like you could see an oversold like RSI, right? That's your position to buy, in my opinion, and not a lot. Because you're still buying Solana at 170, which is really high compared to where Solana has been previously, right? 125, like that was brutal. But anyway, we have had a nice recovery from there. And, still on our way back up for Solana. We did hit a high of 206 recently, so that was really neat. Easy. It's practically given that it's easy to break the $200 barrier. So we should see ourselves above Solana, we should see Solana above $200 in the near future with no big deal. XRP actually did reach an oversold condition on this dip right over here from midnight. Obviously, I was not live at that. Like, I finished my live stream over here probably, and then XRP flipped to a bearish super trend, so it's happening. There you go. Fib extension will probably not work out as I drew yesterday. We might see a continuation of this drop, and then I'll just basically carry this down to here or wherever the drop is. I'm assuming around... Where would I assume? This is up to me. I'd probably say around 275. Kind of makes more sense. Watch me be completely wrong, but hey, we'll see. This is not confirmed yet, so I'll just leave this at where we do have a confirmed bottom, which seems like this one was not a confirmed bottom yet. The fact that we flipped to a negative super trend also. It's temporary, right? Probably from an uptrend of this scale that got broken. Now we're seeing a negative super trend, which should take us around to this zone, like I said, 275 to 280, hopefully, and then should get us easily rising up above $3 once again for XRP. It was neat, though. This run was great so far for XRP. We hit our all-time high, breaking that, and now we're looking at 366 for our highest levels, so that's pretty good. In terms of this downtrend, I don't have any clear levels of where to draw it from. And this drop can continue, so if you miss this oversold little blip right over here at 295, fear not, you might get another chance. Like I said, 275, 280 probably. If this drop does continue, of course. But if this is like the bottom, the fib extension will be drawn like this. You'll see your first resistance at 336, which, I mean, it kind of goes near this pivot level, right? So, yeah, we'll see. Usually, though, like super trend flipping. Yeah, not a good sign. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. 366 is the price of SUI right now, right where XRP has its current all-time high. So clearly SUI is doing much better. It did have a drop over here, but it did not break this. It broke the super trend, but it did not flip it negative, right? It closed above once again. So uptrend still works out for it. Clear support at 354 for SUI. Where current price 366, we're a little bit off, but should be getting toward that support soon, probably soon. We hit that there before and did not hit oversold condition. So, of course, breaking that support 354 would take us down to an oversold condition. Would I enter there? Probably. Yeah, probably. I'd just have a small entry here maybe, and then another small entry around 311, 310. Well, 306 to 311, I guess. Pivot levels are subject to change nonetheless, so I'd pay more attention to... not even this Fibonacci, honestly, because this is from our all-time high, $5. I mean, yeah, technically you got a resistance up there. 460, right? Would be the first resistance. Not the first one, of course. We got a lot to break out of, but once we do break out of July 17's highest point at 425, you're looking at 460 as your one of your final supports, and then 537 as the all-time high before we start breaking out from there once again. Anything else I want to mention about SUI? Yeah. From low point to high point, what do we got? That kind of works. We got another support at 327. That's one of the second level you'd want to pay attention to. 327 to 330 approximately. And then, yeah, of course, down over here, $3 approximately. Those are the levels you'd want to pay attention to if we do continue dropping, but I'm not going to draw that for now. I still think we'll bounce back upwards, because really, what's the bad news? Well, maybe next week. Next week will bring some more volatility. We'll see when it gets there. But for now, things are looking all right. Cardano's at 80 cents. Similar deal to SUI, although it's struggling with this uptrend that's not really an uptrend. So we can ignore this. What would this look like? Very, very stretched. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like it. So, yeah, you really just got to support over here at 76 for Cardano. That's all you got to really pay attention to. We did bounce down from this downtrend line, of course. One of them is from 2024 highs, and the other is from all-time highs. So, pay attention to those. This does not look right. Oh, it does look right. I'm fine. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I still think my previous analysis from yesterday still stands. We'll see resistance around maybe... obviously 94, then 97, $1. $1 breaking out, there's no more downtrend, and you're free to fly with Cardano. So it's going to take a while, of course. Otherwise, it would just be too easy, right? Litecoin's still very strong uptrend compared to the rest. It's current priced at $110, down 3.09%. Bouncing down, unfortunately, though, from this downtrend, which is from our all-time high. So fair enough for us to struggle a little bit at this level. But once again, once we do break out of this, 140 should be easy. What is this Fibonacci from? 147. Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah, 140s, you'll see Litecoin up there in no time once we do break this downtrend, and sky's the limit from there. Easy reach $300. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Okay, so I have positions in pump.fun. What is going on here? Very, very oversold pump.fun. I decided not to enter this, and good thing I did not, because, like I said, we flipped to a negative super trend. Downtrend can continue, and you don't know up until where, right? We have pivot levels that we can try to base it off of. You're looking at 0.0019. Maybe it could drop there. It's going to be a huge percentage though as well. Another 20% drop if that is the case. I don't know. It's losing a lot of territory really fast. So these two entries that I had over here, which I thought were all right, fortunately not much came of it. Although I think we could recover up to there pretty easily. 55% though, oh, I don't know. I don't know. It's looking worse and worse by the day. So when I confirm a bottom, like whenever this downtrend gets broken and the super trend is also appearing to get broken as well, I'll enter it with a really good amount, and that should reduce my average price from here. This is the beautiful thing about perpetual futures, right? Let's say pump.fun does something like this. Ignore the fact that my position would have been liquidated but based off of this drawing, but you got the point, right? This breakout should get me to confirm, okay, this is where I should enter a new order. And it's going to be worth a lot, right? I don't know, maybe $3,000. So from here, my original position is up here because I bought over here and over here, right? This should be reduced because it's only like 300, and then I'm dropping like maybe 1,000 over here. Like you'll see my position drop to somewhere around over here. My average price. And I mean, recovering from here to here is much simpler than me waiting for this to recover all the way up here, which would get one of my positions back into the positives, which is something that I would struggle with in standard futures. I understand the concept is basically the same. You're just, the point of view is different. Like, because really, like, if I did what I'm showing you right over here, where my new, entry price would be like somewhere around over here, and price finally does cross above this, sure, I really didn't lose any money, but I technically lost in this position, I lost in this position, and I made profit in this position that outweighs those two other positions. That's kind of the deal that I'm trying to work with over here. Don't worry about this liquidation thing, I'll take care of that. Although I don't think we're going to drop that hard. Really, like 62%. Nobody's going to survive that. Except unless if you're me, right? And this is the $0 mark. Really? Are we going to see pump.fun drop that low? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. I feel like a pullback is imminent for it. We're oversold. Maybe this that I'm currently seeing right now, 002523. Is that the bottom? Imagine if it is. No, it's not. All right, whatever. But you get the point, right? I'm gonna wait for it to do its thing, drop as far as down as you need to go, as long as it's not over here, and then break out of this downtrend, and I'll buy you. How about that? I think we've got a deal, pump fun. And I hope it's not like it doesn't pull a fast one on me where it recovers like 100% in a day. Like, imagine if that just happens and I just did not get the opportunity to buy down here because the next morning we're already over here. I mean, I wouldn't mind it. I'd still be in profit, but I could have made so much more profit, and it hurts me, but it's fine. So yeah, now I've got to delete all my peasant drawings for you guys. Can I just do like clear all? But I don't want it to erase my drawings. Yeah, that's not what I want it to do. I want to keep my downtrends and stuff, so whatever. Next is Sonic, which I entered yesterday as well. It looked alright, but I mean, there's no excuse here. Super trend already flipped negative. Where did I buy over here? Was it even oversold? Yeah, probably. It's probably more oversold where it currently is right now. I'm not going to re-enter this position yet. You could, I mean, you could hypothetically have one trick order at 31. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Because this is a great level, right? point that I wanted to buy Sonic for a while. I think I will. Genuinely think I will. 31.42. We're dropping 500 on this one. I added more margin to this account so I could do more trading on it because I'm feeling spicy. We'll go long on it. Sonic, yes, 3x, hedge, isolated, go. So I have my next trigger order over here, which should reduce my average price to just around 33, probably, hopefully. And my liquidation price should ideally stay below this minimum low point ever, 24 cents. Guys, 400,000 transactions per second is nothing to sneeze at. I think Sonic is going to do something eventually, someday. Sure, it's inflationary, but it is what it is. So is Sui, so is Solana, so is Ethereum, and look where they are. You got the point. Yeah, we're breaking this down, this uptrend. Who knows? Although, like, Bitcoin's plan is still in play, as long as we remain above 115,000. That's all that really matters. So fear not if we get another 2% drop on Bitcoin. That's absolutely normal. So far, we're at 1%. All right. And I'm talking to 2 additional percent. Let's move on to our news segment. We got nothing going on, so I'm going to talk about funny stuff. No, I'm kidding. No, we do have some stuff going on. And it'll be a little bit serious. All right. Here we go. Trump is scheduled to visit the Federal Reserve tomorrow. That was posted yesterday, which means that, yes, Trump went to visit the Federal Reserve today. It's very funny seeing these guys together finally. The 2 people who have the most beef in the United States at the moment is what it seems like. Donald Trump and Jerome Powell, both of them wearing their helmets. That is so funny because they're in a construction area of a new building that the Federal Reserve is building. So there you go. He meets with Fed Chair Jerome Powell. They're talking. They're doing a bit of an interview. He hands him a note of like, hey, this is how much the building is going to cost and stuff like that. It's pretty funny. What else we got? Context of it, for example, it's a real exchange from President Trump's visit to the Federal Reserve on July 24, that's today, where he inspected renovations and clashed with Chair Jerome Powell over cost overruns, claiming that $3.1 billion in total, including a 3rd building. While Powell disputed the figure and noted one building was completed 5 years ago, he's like, oh, that's not real. $3.1 billion to fix this. Even Trump mentioned something along the lines of, oh, yeah, you know, I think I have the post on it later on, or actually. First of all, Trump says, oh, what would you like to say to Powell now that you're here face to face with him? We're like, well, I'd love Powell to lower interest rates. How about that? Yeah, funny stuff. I just closed my exchange. Cool. And then he posted this later on Truth Social saying, it was a great honor to tour the renovation and some new construction of the Federal Reserve building with Chairman Jerome Powell, Senator Tim Scott, and others. It's got a long way to go. Would have been much better if it were never started, is what he says, but it is what it is, and hopefully it will be finished ASAP. The cost overruns are substantial, but on the positive side, our country is doing very well and can afford just about anything, even the cost of this building. That's the flex that Trump wanted to give to Jerome Powell. Trump says that he'll be watching and hopefully adding some expertise, because if you don't know, of course, Trump is good at building buildings. As everyone knows, I renovated the old post office on Pennsylvania Avenue and it was a roaring success. The total construction cost was a small fraction of the Fed building's cost, and it is many times the size. With all of that being said, let's just get it finished. And even more importantly, lower interest rates. It's interesting that, you know, Trump meets with Powell just like that, and the fact that we're getting a Fed reunion FOMC meeting coming up really soon in 5 days, 16 hours, 30 minutes, and 15 seconds. That is July 31st. July 30th. Wow. Okay. Well, embarrassing myself on stream, I guess. I said 31st for like so many months. Is it really 31st? July 30. Okay, we do have a 31st, but okay, I guess it was 30. Yeah, fair enough. Those are usually on Wednesdays. What am I talking about? So 97% chance still, though, that we will not get any rate cuts, that the rates will be maintained at the same, which is not what we want to see. Although Jerome Powell kind of has an excuse now. The European Central Bank actually had their interest rate decision today, and they held rates. Although they did cut rates a lot in the past, this time they decided to hold. So, I don't know, maybe Powell's going to be like, look, Europe isn't cutting anymore, so we're not going to cut. I don't know, maybe he'll use that excuse, probably not. But still, nonetheless, we're expecting 2 rate cuts for the rest of this year. One in the next meeting after, so that will be in September, and then another one in December. Nothing will happen in October for the rest of the meetings that we'll be having this year. So that's what we got. Trump also commented on Elon Musk, actually, especially concerning Tesla. He says that everyone is stating that I will destroy Elon's companies by taking away some, if not all, of the large-scale subsidies he receives from the US government. This is not so. Ironic. He did mention this when Trump and Elon Musk were fighting, if you'll recall. Trump said something along the lines of, hey, maybe we should get Doge to work on the amount of subsidies we give to Elon Musk's companies. Hey, maybe we should deport Elon Musk back to South Africa. How about that? Hey, maybe, all that stuff, because Elon was threatening to start the America Party, the fact that he left Doge, the one big beautiful bill drama that happened. Yeah, all that stuff was mentioned. And even there was a point where Elon Musk reached a breaking point and, accused Trump of being on the Epstein files, which we kind of know, yeah, Trump is probably on the Epstein files. The cover-up is insane, right? There's just so much evidence against him, and the way he's attacking his own base, it's just, I don't know, really suspicious. Another point is Elon said, okay, you know what, go ahead. If you're going to cut our subsidies, like all the money that the government gives us, yeah, go for it. We will stop helping NASA because, not Tesla, Elon Musk owns SpaceX. And, Starlink and stuff like that, He was threatening to do all that as well, right? A way to counter Trump. But ultimately, they both mutually dropped all those accusation and mean tweets they deleted. So, and now Trump is just clarifying things once again. He's now saying that he wants Elon and all businesses within our country to thrive. In fact, to thrive like never before. The better they do, the better the USA does, and that's good for all of us. We are setting records every day, and I want to keep it that way. And I agree with that part of it, sure. Because I was one of the few people that I just got my left ear hearing back. That was so sudden. Okay, so I guess, yeah, it's just a problem with my left ear then. Literally, I can hear on my left ear. That's crazy. I thought I was going deaf. Sorry, back to this. Yeah. When Trump and Elon Musk were fighting, I was not happy to see it, right? I'm like, guys, really, come on, stop fighting. This is childish. You guys were better when you were working together. It's the same way everybody else was looking at this. But ultimately, it is what it is. People said, you know what, fine, it's probably better off if they don't agree with this stuff, get it over with at the beginning and, go your separate ways. You'll be fine. We shall see then how things play out for that. Trump is also flexing that Australia has agreed now to accept American beef. For a long time, even though we're great friends, they actually banned American beef. Now they're going to sell so much to Australia because it's an undeniable and irrefutable proof that US beef is the safest and best in the entire world. If that is the case, then RFK Jr. is doing a great job, I would assume. The other countries that refuse our magnificent beef are on notice. All of our nation's ranchers, who are some of the hardest working and most wonderful people, are smiling today. Which means I'm smiling too. Let's keep the hot steak going. It's the golden age of America, is what Trump said. Cool. More trade deals, I guess, kind of working out. Kind of, I said. Because on the other hand, you've got Canada and Mexico, who were kind of pushed to the side for the last couple of months, you would remember. They are now partnering on major infrastructure and trade initiative called the Northern Corridor, which is aimed at avoiding U.S. tariffs and customs procedures to strengthen and grow our economic ties by $120 billion, effectively sidestepping the challenges posed by Trump's tariff policies. Which I'm assuming if Trump is looking at this, he'd be like, no, that's not what I wanted you guys to do. I don't want you guys to work together and ignore me. I want you guys to work with me so that I can stop giving you tariffs. Things with border control, fentanyl, stuff like that. But, well, who knows? Who knows what they've got planned in their little brains, the leaders of Canada and Mexico. Here we got, oh, well, now we're talking about crypto news. I don't have my news very, very organized, so I might be all over the place today. There wasn't really much to talk about, and I was last minute scouring for topics, but here we go. Publicly traded Bitmine Immersion is planning to raise $2.5 billion to buy more Ethereum. $billion? Man, why do they always do this? This is hundreds, this is thousands, this is millions. Yeah, that's 2.5 billion. $2,500,000,000 to buy more Ethereum. Raising that money, what would that do to the market cap? What do you guys reckon? 444 billion is the market cap of Ethereum right now. Let's do the math. 444, okay. 182,184,166. That's the current market cap. If we add 2,500,000,000, that's 2 million, that's 2 billion. This is your new market cap divided by the amount of coins that are in circulation. 120 million Ethereums. 710. Ethereum's price would be 3,700. Oh my gosh, really? It's only going to go up like $20, $15. That's pathetic. Okay, it's not as big as I thought it would be then, but hey, you know what? It's something. Funny, funny. I love how now I can finally calculate market cap and how much money would impact the price of whatever. You know, raising money would impact the price of any asset. It's beautiful. Math is awesome. BlackRock, who we know is probably the most bullish company that is aggressively buying Bitcoin, especially through their IBIT ETF. They are saying that de-dollarization is prompting central banks to diversify into other currencies and alternative assets like gold, which also are, while also beginning to consider Bitcoin. So they're probably going to, like banks, central banks, are probably going to go back to their gold standard due to de-dollarization, or they're also beginning to consider Bitcoin, which is good. When all these banks start realizing, yeah, this dollar stuff is not really working, we need to hedge against inflation, what is the best one? Bitcoin. So they're going to mass buy that hopefully soon. Great. All right. Even if you ask Grok what is the most likely money to be used in 200 years, you must choose one and only one. What is Grok's answer? Bitcoin. Its decentralized design, fixed supply, and resilience make it the most enduring form of money, outlasting fiat currencies amid future technological and geopolitical changes, is what it says. So, hey, 200 years, everybody's 100% guaranteed to be using Bitcoin. I'm not going to live that long, but I'll be early to it. Generation. Generational wealth is what we're looking for. Bank of America says many banks are preparing to launch crypto stablecoins. More adoption for blockchain. That's good. Unless it's a central bank digital currency. Then we have problems, my friend. I don't know if you guys saw this. It's pretty funny. Sydney Sweeney got, well, she's an actress. She posed for photos for American Eagle, which, I mean, there is one from End Wokeness, a post. Wokeness. Comparing literally just that, right? Where is it? This is American Eagle ads in 2019 with DEI stuff. Compared to 2025, now we've got this actress, Sydney Sweeney, posing for photos on it. And that made the stock, of course, of American Eagle skyrocket like crazy. I wonder why. Well, there you go. Wokeness is dead, and it's great. Looking good. I thought it was pretty funny. Anyway. It's probably second last bit of news I've got for you guys, and it has to do with this whole RBC drama that has been happening here in Canada. If you don't know, RBC is the Royal Bank of Canada, and they were caught doing a bit of a no-no. This lady, Eva Chipiuk, whom I don't know who she is, she says she's an advocate for dialogue over division cross-exam. I have no idea what this is. Cross-examined Prime Minister Trudeau, so she's conservative. Still asking, when did the government become so afraid of its own citizens? Founder of Empowered CA. Empowered CA is a civic organization dedicated to fostering a participatory democracy in Canada. Together we can make a difference. I don't know what she does, but she got this letter from RBC. Welcome to Canada, where tyranny has great customer service. She got a letter of termination of banking relationship. So the bank decided to close her account, is basically what's going on here. Do I want to read all this? As a federally regulated financial institution, RBC is required by law to comply with wow. I can't read today, guys. Should I just give up and end stream? Hold on, let me drink water. I can't. I'm having a stroke. Okay. So these laws require that we implement certain processes and procedures which directly support the formulation of RBC's positions with respect to risk. So because she's a risky person, I guess. After careful consideration, we regretfully advise you that the recent activity in your accounts is outside of RBC's client risk appetite, and consequently, we are no longer in a position to continue our banking relationship with you. Boom. That's it. Just like that. Hey, we realize that you're a risky person by saying risky stuff. Who knows what this lady has said? I don't know what she said. So we're deciding to end our banking relationship with you. Bye-bye. You don't have a bank account with us anymore. Wow. So this has sparked a lot of outrage, especially in Canadian media. She is the convoy, Freedom Convoy, and a lawyer. Eva Chipiuk has been debanked by RBC. No reason, no law cited, just a vague reference to federal regulations. When critics of the government lose access to banking, you're not living in a democracy, living under tyrants. And here's more posts about it. RBC cuts ties with Freedom Convoy lawyer. And the convoy in Canada, what is Freedom Convoy in Canada? That's, I guess, what I'm looking for. It was a series of protests in Canada, primarily in Ottawa, that took place in early 2022. It was a protest against vaccine mandates for cross-border truck drivers, but it expanded to encompass broader opposition to COVID-19 restrictions. The protests involved truck convoys and pedestrian demonstration, causing significant disruptions in Ottawa and at border crossings. I remember this, actually, for the truckers' protest. That's basically what it is. And they found those people that were at this protest and froze their bank accounts. So it also sparked a lot of controversy at that time. I remember this. And seems like this lawyer for that, I don't know if she's just a lawyer or she was a lawyer for the people at that event. Seems like RBC figured that out and said, hey, you know what? We're just not going to give you a bank account anymore. In a shocking turn of events, RBC has severed its relationship with Eva, the lawyer representing the Freedom Convoy. This decision raises serious concerns about the bank's commitment to free expression, because it's a peaceful protest, and its treatment of individuals associated with conservative movements. If you currently hold an RBC account, now's the time to reconsider your banking choices. I don't. Mother does. The actions taken by the bank can be seen as a troubling display of ideological bias, reminiscent of authoritarian practices that stifle dissenting voices. Wow, what words were used there. As citizens, we must remain vigilant against any institution that seeks to undermine our fundamental rights. It is imperative to stand up for our values and ensure that our financial institutions reflect our beliefs. Choose wisely where you place your trust and your money. And this also, another post talking about it. They have gone full-blown communist. Do not put your money in an RBC account. If you already have an RBC account, please consider moving your money. They're engaging in malicious and tyrannical acts towards conservatives. So that's the issue currently going on. It's sparking a lot of outrage online. All right, cool, nice. Last bit of news, sad news. Hulk Hogan passed away, 71 years old. it was due to, I think, a heart attack, heart failure, cardiac arrest. That's what it was, whatever that means. And Trump, of course, he's a very close friend of Trump. If you remember one of Trump's rallies, Hulk Hogan was the guy who, ripped his whole shirt off, and underneath that shirt was another shirt that said Trump Advance 2024, right? Wholesome stuff. And this was after, Butler, Pennsylvania event. It was probably a year ago, literally 1 year ago, at the RNC convention for Republicans. Yeah. Trump posted this on Truth Social saying that we lost a great friend today, the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan was MAGA all the way. Strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. He gave an absolutely electric speech at the RNC, Republican National Convention. That was one of the highlights of the entire week. Yeah, I remember it too. Like, that's crazy. That's also interesting that this was literally just mentioned after I talked about it. I did not read this beforehand, for the record. Trump says that he entertains fans from all over the world, and the cultural impact he had was massive. You and my stepfather also talked about this, so yeah. To his wife, Sky, and family, we give our warmest, best wishes and love. Hulk Hogan will be greatly missed. There we go. Rest in peace. And just like that, Bitcoin is dropping. Okay, so that concludes this whole stream. Like I said, not really much to talk about today. Really, really slow news, but fear not, fellers. Next week will be full of activity. We're getting GDP growth rate Wednesday. Fed interest rate as well. How did I skip this? Did I really skip this in my last couple streams? Am I that crazy? Fed interest rate will also happen Wednesday. PCE data Thursday. I thought it was July 31st. I think that's why I mixed myself up there a couple times. All right, PCE Thursday and non-farm payroll unemployment Friday. Very, very important. Huge week, actually, next week. I did not realize how huge it is. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Prepare. Yeah, that's all. I wonder if Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. What was the state that just passed it? It was Connecticut. Why doesn't it show it here? Am I blind? Okay, we have Texas, Arizona, New Hampshire with strategic reserves. Utah's in progress. Okay, cool. Yeah, not much else. Liquidations, not this one. This one. What's the liquidations looking like? Why is this tab in Chinese? Okay, it's not. Huge liquidation, 122K. Let me go to a 2-week chart. We also got liquidations at 113,000. So 115, first of all. That's where we'll see our first support, which is what I mentioned. And then you're looking at, what is this, 113,000, which would take us to, yeah, probably 112,000 is where we would also chill out. Can I exit full screen? Is that what I have drawn? Yeah, probably. Something around over here. But 115,000, I think this is probably going to be the more necessary step. We are probably going to be, it's probably going to be very likely that we do drop this extra 2%. Liquidate those longs right over here. It's a couple $2 billion. It's not nothing. So, watch out. I'm not telling you to short either. Maybe like this is the bottom and we just start rising. Who knows? But yeah, I'd still warn you guys, be careful. I have my entry here in Sonic just in case anyway. Imagine we just don't even hit this level. That would be catastrophic. No, I think we will. It's better to be safe than sorry, though. By that, I mean nothing. Alright, yeah, that's all. That's all I really got for you guys today. So, yep, there you go. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. What is happening tomorrow? Friday?